and baked. And this one is, oops, let's put this one on. On Ruby Red. Okay. Yeah, so sometimes I put strawberry buttercream inside and rose petal dust if it's more for adults. This one's for kids, so we've got a vanilla buttercream on the inside. The outside is crumb coated in vanilla buttercream also. So you can see there's basically it's enough buttercream to sort of lock in all the crumbs, but you can see bits of cake still sticking through because it's not my final coat. Anyway, so final coat, we are working on a pink buttercream. Now, I had a pink heart-shaped cake yesterday, and so I've got all these bits of pink around. So I want to try and use up some of my perfectly fine buttercream. I don't know if I can though, because I sillily put these all in the same container. It was a bit of a rush day. I had an appointment the day before and just didn't get enough stuff done. And then so when I came back, I was like really rushing. So anyway, got there, got it all done. I usually get everything done. I just sometimes bring some stress onto myself. All right. So just scrape off some of this soft pink buttercream. And if I'm not happy with the color, I can add some more of this anyway. This eventually will be turned into red, I think, for the outside of the cake. So nothing going to waste, which is good. So give this a little microwave. And we'll see how much we have. We'll add some plain white buttercream to make enough to cover the outside of the cake. And then we shall go from there. Might be a bit of microwaving and things going on. I use a type of buttercream called an Italian meringue buttercream. So it sets super hard at room temperature. It's not an icing sugar buttercream. So it sets super hard in the fridge. Luckily it comes back really well in the microwave. Then I don't think this is nope. So we'll give it another 30 seconds and just trying not to completely melt it. Now I've got a brand new mic on today. So have been struggling in the past with noises like just putting my knife on the bench, for example, being really, really loud and echoey. This is a commercial kitchen. Yeah, this is a commercial kitchen, so everything's nice and hard. And 1 second. Woohoo! I'm on YouTube! Woohoo! All right, so I slightly melted that. All right, so I've got 230 grams of buttercream, and I reckon I need maybe 6 to 8, because you need a thick coat on the outside, and then we also need piping as well. So this was from today's wedding cake. So I'll add that in and see if we've got enough. If not, I've also got this one. Always good to keep all the bits and pieces, all the leftover stuff. Still perfectly edible, and you just have so much less waste if you keep stuff and then like use it on the next cake. be okay. All right, so up to 540, which I don't think will be enough to do the outside and the piping. The problem is I want to color match. So it's very difficult to create exactly the same color. So I need to make sure I have enough to start with. Right, let's see what this does. Anyways, so as I said, I had a wedding cake this morning. It was a fun one. It was a donut tower. So the couple had a clear acrylic, that's hard to say, clear acrylic cake stand, and then so on the top layer they had a tiny little 5-inch semi-naked cake decorated with fresh flowers, which was really pretty. And then on the lower 3 tiers we had donuts. So I purchased my donuts from a local bakery that does all the traditional sort of donuts and vanilla slice and pies and all that kind of stuff. So I got some from there, and then I decorated them. So I got like donut fondant, donut icing, and it's soft sugary icing. Colored it up, add a custom sprinkle mix. And yeah, and then added some flowers at delivery. So that's $7.24. I reckon 800, just to be on the safe side. Oops. Come on. Like, can't have $7.96. I want 800. Okay, cool. Okay, so I got my lovely buttercream, which was a nice soft pink, but now I've added lots of white to it, so it might be too light, so we shall see. Okay. Just wash my sticky hands. Okay, and I'm just going to mute the camera for a sec while mute the microphone, I should say, while I mix the mixer on fast. Alrighty, so my buttercream was a little bit pale. It was sort of like that. So I just added a little bit of my cold darker pink, and then I've created this really beautiful shade. So okay, I'm quite happy with that. Just give it a good mix with the spatula, just in case any little bits and pieces. You can see there's a little bit that hadn't incorporated properly. Oops. So that's actually quite a large chunk. Just take that out. Cool. Anyway, quite happy with that. So I just like to keep an eye on how much buttercream I'm using. So we'll just put that on the scale. Ooh, come here, cake. Okay, and now it's a very hot day here, and this cake was in the fridge, and then it's come out. So it's been sitting on the bench for a bit, and so because the cake's so much colder than room temperature, I mean my aircon is running, but it's really hot. I'm just using a little bit of paper towel to absorb any condensation that might be there. As if there's, you know how oil and water don't mix. So because buttercream's basically butter, which is fat, and then you've got like condensation, which is water. You can get a little layer of condensation between the butter and the butter, like buttercream, and then the second layer of buttercream doesn't stick. So always a good idea to just sort of wipe it off. So starting with some buttercream on top. And just gently coaxing it down the sides. And just adding a little bit extra. Oops, let's not go off the side. Okay. So just sort of filling in the gaps. Looks messy at this point, but it's about to look much nicer. So let's get the stuff off the board first. All right, so grab our scraper. We're just going to go around the cake. Just take off some of the excess. Try and make my sides fairly straight for now. And where it didn't go on completely evenly, you got lots of little gaps. So we're just going to fill those in. Just taking off the excess again. And then just putting my scraper completely flat. Just making sure my cake is straight. I noticed it's slightly bulging at the bottom, and all that is because when I put the second layer of, like the second bit of buttercream around the base, I just put more around the base than was on the top. Okay, now I do have a slight problem. So before I was saying mixing in all the buttercream to make sure there's no little, like, no streaks. So unfortunately, I've got a streak here. So we'll take off the, can you see there? I think you can, maybe. Yeah, that's really, really dark. I got a darker chunk there, so we don't want that. We'll take those off. We'll give our buttercream a really good mix. And then we'll put the more even buttercream back in those gaps. And then around we go again. Just make it nice and smooth. Cool. Okay. Now I've unfortunately got an air bubble, and that was just because I made a hole and then filled it in again. I just end up with a little bubble of air. Got a couple of them actually. Once you start looking. And another little streak I'll get rid of. Okay. With air bubbles, you just try to pop them, and then we're going to smooth the cake again, and then if there's any divots left, we'll put a bit more buttercream in and hopefully get a smoother look. Okay. So you can sort of see there's a hole there. That's from an air bubble. And I've got a So because I've scraped it back slightly further, I've discovered another little streak, which is really annoying. Okay. All right, so I'm just heating up my scraper a little bit. You got to be careful when heating coloured buttercream because heat can develop colour. So I want it warm but not like crazy hot. And then just go around one more time. And you just sort of get a nicer, smoother top coat. Cool, so that was 450 grams of buttercream, which leaves me, if I can maths, it leaves me 350, which should be just enough for my piping. So that is fantastic. So we're going to clean the board a bit. Oops, made a mess. Luckily I'm about to put piping on the outside, so that doesn't matter as much. So let's pop him in the fridge to chill for a bit. Alrighty, now, so let's look at this reference picture again. So we've got a pale pink base. Our base is a little bit more candy pink. That one looks a bit washed out. So hopefully I haven't made it too pink, but I think a candy pink will work better with a red than a sort of a dusty washed out pink. Anyway, let's hope. So if you look at the reference picture, our main piping, top and bottom, is red. So, and then I'm going to use this for like basically I have plenty of this, I need more red. I'll use this for the secondary piping, that's the word I was looking for. So buttercream is basically pink before it turns red because you start with white. So that's good because it means I don't have to like wash the mixer between those. Okay, so just get rid of that. I will keep that. Ugh, so much buttercream. Clean spatula. So this is leftover red, which I'm going to use up. And then I'll add some of that pink into it because, yeah. But same idea as before, we're going to weigh out our buttercream, make sure we've got enough. I definitely don't want to get stuck in the middle of and have like try and create the same red shade. That'll be hard, very, very hard. Saturday afternoon, 4:30 Saturday afternoon. Fun times. I must admit, I do like finishing work on a Saturday afternoon and getting to go home instead of having to work on a Sunday cake. I'm trying really hard this year to have a little bit better work-life balance, and so I block my calendar, so I don't work every Sunday. Like it's blocked every second Sunday, so I don't take too many Sunday cakes, and I don't take too many Wednesday cakes. The reason I don't want Wednesday cakes is they've got to be started like baking on a Sunday. Okay, so red's quite a difficult color to obtain just because it's it takes a lot of color to get there basically. So that's not quite the right shade of red, but by the time we add in like a lot more pink, we should get there, I think. I hope. And this should hopefully be like a sort of a raspberry red to go with our strawberries. Strawberry red? I don't know. Anyway, it's a bit dark, but when it gets whipped up, hopefully it should be the right colour. Thanks, Cakebot. Now, what are we up to? 300. I reckon I need more than that. I'm going to add another 100, but first of all, I'm just going to whip that to see what we get. If I'm happy with the shade, it just needs to go darker. I'll keep adding my candy pink. If it's not quite right, I'll add some white to adjust. Excuse me while I just turn up the mixer. As air goes in, color changes. So I've got sort of a dark pink. Did I turn that off? Yes, I think my video is just behind. So that's my two colors together, but I think I want to move away from the pink tones, add a little bit of white, and then add like a really reddy red, not a raspberry red. So to get there, what did I say? I had like 300. I'm going to add the rest of this white, I think. And then I will add like it's called Super Red. It just has more of an orange base, whereas the other one has a pink base. So that's a raspberry there, and this is Super Red. And then I've also got an electric red if I really need to get rid of the pinky flavors. Oops. Just overdoing that a bit. All right, so a little bit of white to change color palette. Now this is nearly gone. This should hopefully brighten things up a bit. Thanks for the chat, but that looks like spam. Hey, moderation. Sorry. It's all right. All right, fresh bottle. Fresh bottle time. Oh, I can hear myself now. Charge me. Ah, silly ear holes, they need charging. All right. An obscene amount of red food coloring. Luckily, this is only on the outside of the cake. Okay, let's mute the microphone for a sec. All right, so this is still fairly raspberry. Unfortunately, when you whisk it, you whisk air into it, which lightens it. So as I said, like, I actually know some local cake makers who charge extra for black and red cakes because they use such a crazy amount of color. Let's see if I can get any more out of this one. Yeah, they charge huge. Yeah, sorry, red and black cakes and like dark blue as well. Uses so much color and takes a lot of time to get there, and color's expensive. So like if you want red or black piping, it's, I think she charges like an extra $12 or something. Okay, another half bottle of red food coloring. Muting the microphone. Okay, so still fairly pink. And we're obviously very, very runny at the moment, just because I heated the buttercream up to help emulsify the color better. Now, one sec. Want some ribbon, because this cake has ribbon on it. So what I'm trying to work out is if these two colors go together. Checking my reference picture. I think you can see just how crazy, crazy red that piping is. I don't know if they've adjusted the color in this. Wouldn't be surprised, it does look slightly adjusted, because that's going to be like 50% food coloring to get that color. The question is, will my pretty pink, see, those shades go together quite well. That's quite pretty. This red will just be a bit different. It's not bad. It's just a different shade of red. Interesting. Okay. I think it'll be okay though. What I'm going to do, I'm just going, as I was saying, I heated up the buttercream just to help the colours emulsify better. You can see a sheeny patch on top. What I do have is some actually have an emulsifier, which I sometimes use when I've got a lot of colour I'm trying to force into the buttercream. So just put a little bit of this, what is it, lecithin, I think. Add a drop per 100 grams of product. There were about 500, so okay, so we're just going to cool the buttercream slightly, and then we shall whip it again, and it should hopefully come up nicely. There's not much there, it won't take too long to chill. All right, so let's get this in the fridge. All right, so while that's chilling, oops, let's not drop that. Let's get my phone out of the way. Okay. So our base coat has had some time to chill, and the reason we chill it is so we can trim the top easily. So I've got a hot knife, cold buttercream, and I'm just taking off the excess. This is a really good way to get, oops, let's not dig in, shall we? It's a tiny bit soft, so I'm digging in. Like the top's hard, but the bit underneath isn't quite hard enough. Anyway, yeah, it's a really good way to get a nice sharp top edge. Apart from the digging in, you can tell that my buttercream wasn't quite set enough because as I've scraped it, it's just sort of oozed out a bit. It's very fixable though. So nice top, smooth top edge. And then all the bits that have come over the side, we'll just do a very careful run around. And we end up with a relatively nice sharp top edge. Can sort of take all these little daggy bits off. And if I chilled that, I would just chill it and then use the heat of my finger just to take those bits off. Nice and easy. Now we are writing on the top of this. So I'm making sure I've got a nice smooth base to write on. I find it easier to work out how to center the words when I've got my piping on. It just becomes very difficult to tidy up. If the piping's not right, if you need to take it off and put it on again, it's very hard to do that with piping around the sides. So catch-22. Anyway, all right, pop him back in the fridge because he just wasn't 100% firmly set. We'll grab out the red guy and we'll beat up the red buttercream so we can do some piping. So this is just hardening on the outside, which should be good. Still sloppy inside, but the edges are getting nice and cold and hard. All right, so grab back our red setup. And let's just speed that up. Damn it. You heard nothing of that. You can tell this is my first stream back, can't you? Oh, okay. Anyway, color not quite dark enough. Adding more color, seeing how we go. All right, so not too much heat this time, just hopefully enough to let it emulsify. Thrilling stuff. This is the stream dreams are made of. It's been nice having a break. I had 2 weeks off over Christmas, which I was very grateful for. Okay, we are almost there. Do I stick blender it? If I do, I might not have enough buttercream. That is my concern, but it will go darker. Actually, I will stick blender it and then possibly whip it again. That might be the way to do it. Yes, let's do it this way. We'll get there eventually. Yeah, so saying before, the baker that charges extra for color. Yeah. She does a lot more celebration cakes than me, but she's onto a good idea, I think. Because the problem is custom cakes, you've already got so many things to take in consideration with pricing that, you know, I just try to make it as streamlined as possible. Anyway, so much pink. Okay. So much pink. All right, so we can see the color now, right? Get rid of you for a second. Let's go wash my hands. Otherwise, it looks like I've been doing bad things. Ah, hey there, old man Felonius. So red and so much color and so not red enough for what I need yet. How are you doing? Hope you've been well. All right, so we're going to use our stick blender to emulsify it. It will take out some air, but it should increase the color quite considerably. Sorry, I just realized I should have taken off the microphone for that. Okay. So our red's a little bit darker. Tell me about it. Always tired, always too much to do. Yeah. Could do well though. Okay, so the stick blender should have emulsified that color. It's still like a raspberry. It's not an orange red. Okay. If I did want orange red, maybe I should be adding orange. Anyways, just try and get all the bits and pieces off the emulsion blender without cutting myself. But at least if I cut myself, wouldn't be able to tell, right? No, let's not do that. Food safety and all that jazz. Just looks like I've had more murders. Okay. Right. So that's emulsified. So I'm going to put that back in the mixer just to basically give me a slightly better texture. It will lighten up a tad, but it shouldn't lose its richness, hopefully. Ugh, so much red. Okay, let's give this a go. I just let it cool a little bit and then I'll whip it again, but it looks good. Let's make some strawberries. Okay, so we're decorating this cake with some little strawberries made from fondant. We'll grab my big tub of fondant. And I've got the cutest little strawberry cutter here that we have caused this with 3D printed. So TechSport has, my husband, who I just call TechSport, he has a 3D printer. And a month or so ago, a friend who has a farm and she's got some Highland cows, she wanted to do gingerbread cookies in the shape of Highland cows, as she does like photo shoots at her farm. And she wanted to do, like, give a cookie away to people when they came in to have their Christmas photos. So I made her some Highland cow. Just trying to work out the best shade of red. Maybe this one. So I made her some Highland cow gingerbread cookies, but we 3D printed the cookie cutter. Anyway, that worked really well. And then made something else that I needed a cookie cutter for. Oh, gingerbread men for Christmas, obviously. And that was really cute. And then so instead of buying a cutter for a one-time only job, or like making a little template, like printing off a strawberry, or like, you know, basically making a strawberry template, then cutting around it. I said to my other half, I said, oh, can you make me a strawberry? Next thing you know, we've got a strawberry in the perfect size for this cake. So very impressed. I know a few people who, well, not personally, but I know of people who have whole businesses like making cookie cutters on their 3D printer. Gosh. I don't roll out fondant very often, so I decided to put my fondant mat away. And this is a problem. Maybe it's a bad call. I have a smaller mat I could have rolled on. Oh, that's unfortunate. Yeah, this is going to be a problem every single time. Okay, that was a silly idea. Anyways, oh my God, you can, so normally this fondant is set rock hard. Oh, hope you're all right. Yeah, it's so hot in here that this stuff's normally rock hard. Well, hope things get better for you, old man Thelonious. Yeah, hopefully life calms down a little bit. And there's always too much to do, right? Never enough time to get everything done. A little bit of cornstarch to stop it sticking. Oh yeah, but my 3D printer, right? Oh, my husband's 3D printer that I just commandeer. He makes him, like, creates brackets to hold things up and does all kinds of sensible things, and I'm just here asking for cookie cutters. I don't do many novelty cakes anymore, but back in the day, oh, thanks, Catastrophe. Thank you so much for the follow. Hope you're well. Hope you're having a good day. Enjoying a little bit of chaotic cake streaming. Yeah. So what I was saying, so yeah, back in the day when I used to do a lot of like novelty cakes, that kind of more custom-y kid stuff. Whereas now I do like a lot more wedding cakes. Anyway, used to need cake cutters or like molds or things all the time. And it gets really expensive after a while, especially as they tend to be 1 or 2 uses only. So being able to 3D print them is very cool. Should I have embossed it first? Maybe I should have embossed and then cut. Thinking that's what I should have done. Yeah. I didn't really have embossers when I was doing custom cakes. That is adorable. But I should have embossed them first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Got 10 out of that. Just thinking how many I'll need to go around my cake. Let's grab a little bit more fondant and try that again. Thank you. Like, yeah, when we got it off the printer, I was very, very impressed. Okay. All right. My headphones have just died. If I miss the chat, I do apologize. I'll keep looking. Yes, that's what happens when you don't stream for like 3 or 4 weeks. Everything goes flat. But they are very cute. And I'm very impressed. So hopefully this will be a cute cake. It's for a 1-year-old's birthday. Alrighty, so let's emboss first. I'm contemplating whether I'll like make the seeds white and go to that level of detail. Oops, that wasn't very well embossed. Of all things, I sprained my thumb just before Christmas. We were doing the annual like end of year kitchen clean, so things like, you know, cleaning ceilings and moving everything, getting behind stuff, you know, all the stuff that only needs to be done every now and then. So I was trying to undo something and I pushed too hard with my thumb, like sprained my thumb. Anyway, you forget about it until you're doing something like this and you need your thumb. And it's like, oh, that really hurts. Okay, anyway, enough of my slight nut shoot. Yeah, it's pretty cute. I like that. The cutter is ever so slightly bigger than the embosser though. Gives it a very cute look, but got to make sure I line it up properly. Some of these I put a tiny bit too close together, which is rather annoying. So when you're cutting cookies or fondant or anything, if you do what I'm doing with the so I'm not just pushing in and lifting straight up, I'm giving it a little bit of a wiggle, and that just sort of releases all the bits on the edge. Sometimes if you just, this one's messed up anyway, push it in and then lift it out, you end up sort of with those I call them daggy bits, like those shaggy bits, the bits that didn't like cut through all the way. Bit random, but it's a really good pastry chef trick for getting nice clean cut scones. Some people get their cutter and then they'll like do that, but you can actually yeah, that's fine. You can actually twist the edges, which means that they rise weirdly. So by just moving the whole thing around rather than trying to twist the cutter, you get a better result. Anyway, probably being too technical and chefy. Sorry about that. I do sometimes go down that path. Oops. This is going to be a big cake. It's a 10-inch diameter single tier. Going to need lots of strawberries on it, I think. Very thrilling. Just pinch that bit in together so I can use that one. All right, how many did I get? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So that's, I want 3 layers. That's probably nowhere near enough. They're 1.5 inches. And it's a 10-inch diameter cake, which means it's about 30 inches around. I reckon I need 30. Rough math. Oops, let's not do that. Right. Emboss, but not too close together this time. Try not to push down with my thumb. I mean, who honestly sprains their thumb trying to twist something? Uh-oh. That was too much pressure. Yeah. I feel like I'm the most uncoordinated person in the world sometimes. Anyway. It's Saturday afternoon, everything's shut. We're in the middle of a heat wave, and so everyone was shutting early or not opening today. The butcher just decided not to open, which is fair enough, I guess, but left some annoyed people. Anyway, yeah, so it's super quiet. Everyone's just inside dying. And then I saw movement outside. There's still birds around. You think they'd be trying to get out of the heat as well. All right, can I get, no, I can't get that one. That was the one I embossed too much. Okay, almost there. We'll do a couple more of these and then we'll do the red piping and get back on track. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. My fondant is getting a bit thin now. So I'm trying to stretch it a little bit further. I think we're getting close to having enough anyway. Okay. One more. Let's use up this last little bit. Okay, beautiful. Right, how many do we end up? 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh God, I can't count that. I think there's 30 there. So that was my estimate of how many I'd need. Hopefully that is enough. Anyway, let's get on to something more exciting. Okay, we'll take my fondant mat out of the way, but we won't put it away properly in case we need it again. This is still very soft, so I'm going to give it a tiny burst in the fridge. But I'll pull that one out in preparation. Shouldn't need that anymore. Shouldn't need that unless I totally ruin it. Oops, sorry about the noise. Okay, so just while we're waiting for the red, okay, yeah, 30 might be enough, which would be very cool. I don't think I quite counted properly. Oh dear. Or maybe I did. Not quite. Almost. 28, not 30. Not too bad. Okay. All right, let's go with look at our reference picture again. So this is our reference. Those strawberries are teeny, teeny, tiny on there. I didn't realize they're quite that small. Yes, I'm only going to get 2, which means 28 should be fine. I think I'll pipe first. Do you want a strawberry first? Pros and cons to both. Now let's strawberry first because let's get that one. Because I'll either ruin the strawberries or ruin the piping. Cake decorating is sorcery to me. Nice. Yeah, it is a bit. It's kind of cool though. When I worked in restaurants and like did pastry stuff, one of the kitchen's hands would always say it was sorcery. It was pretty funny. All right, this is really, really sticky glue, edible glue. Now, when you're gluing fondant things on, you've got to be careful you don't make them put too much glue on. So if you put too much glue, they sort of don't stick, they slide. Okay, let's reference. Reference had the strawberries at all different angles, which I think looks nicer. Anyway, so let's do that. Oh, it is like so sticky, this stuff. How close do I want them together? I don't really want to cut a million strawberries, but I kind of like that look. Okay, so a little bit of glue on one, move it across a couple. Yeah, this glue is like crazy sticky. It also dries really quickly too. See how I go doing 2 drops at once. See if I make this a little bit more efficient. Oops, crap, that was way too close. I don't want them on top of each other. It's somewhat easier to go the same direction all the way around. Okay, so 1 dot. Oh, hey there, Kelly Song. Sorry, my headphones have died, so I may not be watching chat constantly. I'm great, thanks. How are you? I'm just making a first birthday cake right now. Once we put all these little fondant strawberries on, we're going to put some nice decorative, like vintage style piping on. So should be good. Trying to place the strawberries in a cohesive, random sort of pattern. And not glue my strawberries together. Just checking my spacing is still good. I don't think I'll have enough. Might need to make a couple more. Once these get on, it will sort of start coming together a bit more. We might just get there. That would be amazing. Amazing. I think we will. Alrighty. Oh, excuse my name. This is a very hard floor. Strawberries on. Yay, happy with those. Okay. So pushing them down. Okay. Making sure all the bits are touching. Cool. All right. Made it, which was amazing. All right, red buttercream. Ready or not, I'm going to type you. Sorry about that. I didn't realize I should have put the mic mute on. Sorry, hope it wasn't too loud. Okay, just working out which piping nozzle I'm using. I know the one I want will be all the way down the bottom. That's the way these things normally go. All right, so we're going to start with quite a large closed star tip. Now this will harden overnight, but it's just going to be soft for piping. Once you put so much colour in and mess around with it for so long, it just becomes really difficult to work with. So, like, it's still quite soft, but I think that's the best I'm going to get. So. So let's weigh this, because I'm really hoping I don't have to make more red. Okay. I really hope I get around the edge. Otherwise I'm swapping to a smaller piping nozzle. Okay, let's go, piping time. not too bad actually. How much did I use? Okay, I'll get there. Okay, so find my starting point. It was here, so I want to start at the same point on the top as well, just so I have less unattractive edges. Okay, there we go. And made it. Yes, very nice. Still writing in red on top, so I've got to take that into consideration, but that should be good. Okay, so pink. Now, hopefully I haven't messed around with the red for so long that my pinks should be okay, but actually my red is very soft, so I'm just going to fridge this for a second. We just want the red just to firm slightly on the edges, so when I pipe the pink on top, it'll be crisp. Okay, so while that's firming, let's look at this pink. Also, because the red's really soft, I don't want to have my pink too firm. Not too soft with a mix, not too firm, or yeah, fun times. Okay, so looking back at my reference picture, they have pink on the outside edge, probably because their edges went crisp. So I'm going to do that on the base. I'll do a little bit of that, and then inside the red as well. So then I'm going to write in red. Scout is one on top, so we'll go like red, pink, red. It all makes sense. So I need this piping bag for this one. And I'll use the same kind of star tip, but a much smaller one. It just creates contrast. And then just basically killing a couple of minutes while that red's chilling up a tiny bit. Let's get out the piping nozzle for the writing on top. I'm looking for one of these styles, but not with a slightly bigger opening than that. Maybe that. All right, so we're going to go with okay, number 3, I think, for the writing. Right. Okay. Red should be firm enough. So just walked in front of the camera. Fantastic. Okay. Still very soft, but it'll hold the weight of the pink, I think. Oh. Piping bag goes in the bag. Sorry, buttercream goes in the bag and it'll leave my hands. Super hot temperatures. Oh yeah, we're so hot here. It's Celsius, so it's 37 where I am up in the Highlands. So this is the Southern Highlands of New South Wales. It's quite cool here normally, and it's hot. And then, so we're at the top of the mountain, and I live down the bottom of the mountain, and it's about 42 at the moment, which is very warm for us. Okay, so starting back, on the same spot as the other color. Once again, so I don't have like the ugly bit where it starts and finishes all over the cake. So piping in the same base pink. "42 degrees is way, way hot." Yeah, definitely. It's ridiculous. Luckily, the weather changes tonight, so it's been heat wave for the last few days. So tomorrow it should be about 19 or 20 degrees. So massive temperature change. When these people said that their birthday party was like in a venue, but the outdoor space, I was like, oh, but luckily the temperature's dropping. Okay, so there we go. I was considering using a different tip, but I think I don't like piping on the edge at all. Okay. So, and this ugly start-stop spot, that'll be the back of the cake. And I'm just going to put a dot of buttercream on the board. So I know that's my front. And now to try not to wipe it off. All right. So off of the top, I have to write Scout is 1. But I think I'm going to let this stuff set in the meantime, let it firm up a tiny bit. So what I'll do while I'm waiting, I've got a little bit of green buttercream in the freezer left over from another project. And I'm just going to grab it out and pipe some leaves on those strawberries. If I can get it out while it's frozen. I won't need much. We're getting there. Almost there. Oh, cool. Well, thanks for have a good sleep, Felonious. Thanks for watching. Really appreciate it. Yeah. And hopefully it's not 42 degrees where you are. Thank you so much. Have a good night. Yeah, this is rock hard. This is really annoying. Let's see if I can cut some. Because I only need a little bit. I don't want to heat up the whole tub of buttercream. If I heat it, like, I can't put it back in the freezer, obviously. And I always keep little odds and ends. If they've only been used once, like, it's helpful to have stuff like this for exactly what I'm doing. Maybe my spoon though. Ugh. All right. Let's start with that. Getting there. Because I'm just using this for details. I don't need to worry about like whipping it properly, like covering a cake. So I'm just going to defrost it and have it at a working consistency. Alrighty. Always a couple of seconds too much. Okay. Got a tub of ice cubes here, and they're really good for cooling a small amount of buttercream. Very exciting for me and you. It's like you know the end is in sight. I'm not sure if that's firm enough yet, but I've got two piping nozzles, so I'm going to pipe the leaves, right? So I've got two piping nozzles, both are leaf tips, but they do different kinds of leaves. So I'm going to start with the smaller of the two. Mainly because if I decide to change, I won't have to like I won't need to get a new piping bag. If you start with a large tip and you cut too much off the piping bag, you can't, you have to get a new bag. I don't like being wasteful, so. So this one makes leaves look like this. Sort of like, you just do like petals if you're making a like a sunflower or dahlia, that kind of thing. So I think that'll look good on my strawberry. And take my one that I glued but didn't put on the cake. You can see where I am on detail cam, I think. Yeah. Okay, so that's actually quite cute. Now let's see if I can translate that onto the cake. That might actually be really, really awful. Instead of piping down, you're piping sideways. And I need to do 27 of them. So let's start at the back first. Just see how it goes. It's actually going to be really awkward. Ah, crud. And that happens. It's much easier if you pipe the wrong way. So some of these are a little better than others. At least nature's natural, right? It's never uniform. Sorry, not much chatting as I'm concentrating. Should have buttercream. So close to you. The buttercream's just getting too warm from being held in my hand. My aircon is blasting and it is like so warm in here. The heat's coming through the back of the windows now. Like the front's quite nice and cool, but anyway, just cooling my buttercream slightly on my ice. Squirting out the bit that was in the nozzle that'll be really soft. And let's hope I can get the rest of these done before it turns completely into soup. It's so close to being soup right now. Just adding a couple more leaves where I want a little bit more definition. Cool. Kind of looks like strawberry. The what's it called? When you the hull, the strawberries. Kind of looks cute, right? Yeah. And that colour has totally changed the look of the cake, which is, I love when a tiny detail like that can completely change things. Now I do have one bit where my green dripped. Luckily, it's pretty much the back of the cake, which is amazing. Because if you can see that, okay, it's a bit ugly, but yeah, it's the back of the cake. So, although, oh, that's soft. I don't know if I want, if my words start there, I don't think I want this. So let's do it here. The strawberries are pretty cute. Yeah. Okay. Let's go here. Now that's my center. All right, this bit's going to be difficult. Okay, I'm going to double check the wording. Scout is 1. Oh, stressful, stressful, stressful. I don't mind writing on cakes, but finding the center sometimes is really hard, and you sort of only get one shot. Like, you can fix it if need be. But yeah, the more you try to fix it, the worse the finish gets. So, just doing a practice run first. All right. Oh dear, this is stressful. You know when you concentrate on a word so much, you it suddenly looks wrong, like O-N-E, is that how you spell 1? Okay, so that feels slightly off center. I did the N directly in the middle, but SCO. Okay, so Scout's not bad. And that's actually in the center. Okay, so I'm happy with Scout is, not so happy with 1. But usually you sort of get one scraping opportunity where it's not too noticeable. Sometimes you just have to accept when it's not perfect. Okay, here's my piping bag. I don't like O's. I don't like piping O's. Okay. It's probably the best I'll get. Scout is 1. Yeah. There we go. All right. So the only other thing left on this cake is something I don't think I want to do today. I'll show you guys. So we can have a look at, let's wipe this up. Oh, I'll drag something through all this. This is a mess. I'm so close to being done that I'm not bothering cleaning up, but yeah, excuse my mess. Okay, let's wash my hands. All right, so, and let's grab a ruler actually. What have I done with my rulers? Okay, so I've got 5 meters of ribbon. Six, 8 to 48. Yes, okay. Might not be enough. All right, so we get our ribbon. 6, 8 to 48. I should have gone 80, not 60. All right, well, anyway. So I'm going to tie a knot, and tie a bow. So I'm not going to... ribbon will absorb moisture in the fridge, especially with how hot it is and the fridge is cold and all that kind of stuff. Luckily, it's a lot cooler tomorrow, so I'm going to attach these ribbons tomorrow, but we'll have a look at them for size anyway. Sort of been waiting for the bow slash ribbon trend to end. It's not as like everywhere as it used to be, but it's still hanging in there. You know, I'm just going to do it at the back just in case I make a mess. But we've got our little gingham. Actually, those reds work together, thankfully. I was really stressed about that. So what I'll do, I'll keep a bit of this buttercream aside, and then tomorrow I will just pipe a little dot of fresh buttercream, push the bow into it, and then pop it in the fridge and it'll set. And then because it'll be sort of attached into the buttercream, all they'll need to do is like pop the ribbon off, and the bit of buttercream it's stuck into should come away, and then there won't be any issues. But we're going to have little gingham bows on there. So it's very sort of like strawberry patch, that kind of thing. And I'll cut all my ribbons the same length, and then I will tie them all up separately, and then we'll just trim the edges. Let's see. Okay, so the picture she likes just has them coming down. That's been in the fridge, you can tell, because they've gone all wavy. Okay, but yeah, that's pretty much what we're aiming for. So we're going to have, I want 8 of them, right? Or maybe 6. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 6. I think will look nice. So that's good. That'll be a spare anyway. But yeah, that's sort of our cake. So if I just carefully pull that off, I haven't messed it up too much, so that's fine. Something I like to do on bows is to put that kind of, excuse me, edge on them. Just make sure my points are the same way. Just go down a bit lower. Yes. Ah, no. All right, so now I've got little points on these ribbons. I'm just going to very gently, excuse me, very gently stick this back where it was. And that's sort of what we're looking for. These might actually, I'll put them up a little bit higher tomorrow. And then that won't be dragging on the board. Yeah, the more I mess around with that, the worse it's going to look. So no more sticking ribbons on today. But anyway, that should finish off that cake. So I'll put it there so we can look at it while I get all crafty. Oops. 60. Oops. I went to the craft store to get this yesterday morning, and normally I either order online or I go in the evening, like after I finish work, but I had to go and pick up something from a cake supply store nearby, so it was just, yeah, easier to go. Anyway, I've never seen so many people in that craft store. I guess like 9:30 in the morning on a Friday is a popular time for crafting. There were a few ladies ahead of me. I guess they were retired, sort of like, or semi-retired. They sort of seemed like, you know, the youngish grandparent sort of age. And they were buying like fabric and things, so, you know. Guess they had projects to do over the weekend. But yeah. Anyway, it was kind of crazy to that store was so busy. Okay, so let's tie some ribbons, then I can just pop them on tomorrow. The ribbon trend though, oh my god, it was everywhere for a while. Like I remember doing a cake for a wedding where the you know, like for cocktail hour, they would like every little glass had to have a ribbon tied around it, and like just crazy stuff like that. Uh-oh, what was I cutting? Yes, I want it higher in the middle. Okay. One. Anyways, once this is done, it's just clean up time and then I get to go home. I decided this year not to do as many Sunday cakes. mean, I never want to say I'm busy enough because, you know, things can change. But I worked hard last year. Really, really hard. Yeah, worked hard, and sometimes, like, you know, stuff I enjoy doing, like streaming and, you know, other things sort of take the back seat. I would like to get a little bit more balance, get a little bit more streaming in, get a bit more content online. You know, just try and do a little bit less work, like standing up all the time. Oops, that one's terrible. You think tying bows is like the quickest and simplest thing, but anyway, this is probably boring. What are we at? 2:43. Okay. Can I get this done in the next 10 minutes? There goes my noisy fridge. Anyone feels like using their noisy fridge a bit? Yeah, anyway, so goals this year. First stream for the year, I should come out with some goals, right? So work less, or just not kill myself working. That would be nice. Joy of hospitality, always end up sort of killing yourself a bit working. Oh. So yeah, that would be nice to do a few less hours in the kitchen, and then just do a little bit more other things, bit of content, bit of, you know, bits and pieces would be nice. And if that doesn't happen, that's no problem, but I still want to make sure I'm not last year, huge goal not to do all-nighters anymore. And I still did a few, but like nothing like previous years. I used to just be doing all-nighters all the time. You know, when you got cakes that are all due the next morning and they all have to be nice and fresh, you just tend to work really late on a Saturday. So that was my goal for last year, which, yeah, not perfect, but did pretty well with it. And then so this year is just to do less Sundays, less try to have a bit more of a schedule. I think, of course, I've started off the year with a Wednesday wedding, which meant I was baking on Sunday. Terrible. So Wednesday wedding, Thursday cake, a Saturday wedding, and a Saturday tasting box, which lots of work for tasting boxes. Sunday, like first birthday cake. Why can't I get this in the middle? And then I've got 2 Thursday weddings next week. So I'm not doing too well with that. However, moving forward, I have a bad habit of if it's looking quiet, it's like, oh yeah, I'll take I've only got one wedding, I'll do the, kid's birthday cake or whatever. And then, of course, other things happen and you end up working every day. So anyway, that's my major goal this year, to not do that. Work-life balance. What a lot of chefs ask for and find hard to get. That one's better. Come on. Turn up. That was better. What have I done? Mess this one up. Am I going for time? All right. There we go. I don't think I'll need all these bows, but better to do them now. Two to go. Two to go. What about 6:45? Yeah, I'd like to go home. Oh, it's terrible. Oh, why? Why? Oh, that's cute. Very, very cute. It's a nice first birthday cake. I am pretty happy with it. The only thing is my strawberry cutter was a bit bigger than the one in the reference picture. So, yeah. Hi, can you show the cake? What does it say? Oh, yeah, sure. It says the first birthday cake for a little girl called Scout. So it's Scout is 1. It's her birthday tomorrow. The cake itself is a strawberry swirl cake. So it's a vanilla cake. It's got strawberry compote swirled through it when it's baked. It's got layers of vanilla buttercream on the inside. And then on the outside, we've got, it's all vanilla buttercream, but we've got like a pale pink and then like a darker red, alternating piping. And these are little fondant strawberry hearts with some little buttercream leaves piped on them. And then this is one I was fiddling with earlier, but I don't know if you saw it. The ribbon will go on tomorrow when it just before it gets picked up, so it doesn't, the ribbon doesn't get damaged, like doesn't go wavy in the fridge, but it will just get little bows attached tomorrow. So that was like my practice one. So yeah, oh, thank you so much. Looks great. Awesome. It's a very cute idea for a first birthday. Normally you get like butterflies or like Peter Rabbit, you know, those kind of ideas. But yeah. And I love how Albury, everything's like just, you know, cute and strawberry themed, apparently like it's in a country pub. It'd be good. Mainly only make sweets. Yes. So this is my commercial kitchen. So this is my workplace. I'm a pastry chef by trade. I'm also a commercial chef as well, but pastry chef by trade. And I started my own business a few years ago. And then with the pandemic and whatever, I basically, like when you got to go out and get married again, the demand was huge. So I ended up just basically switching to mainly wedding cakes and then a few things like this as well. But yeah. Anyway, that's all my bows finally tied. I don't like having things to do the next day when people are coming to pick up. So yeah, I like to have everything ready to go, and I'll just pipe a little bit more buttercream on, stick the bows on tomorrow, and I'll be done. So this is it, and yeah, pretty much finished in time, which is good. I was hoping not to be here more than 3 hours. And I'm pretty much done there. So unfortunately I've just got dishes to do now, but whatever. Yeah. Where am I from? So I'm in Australia, which you should probably be able to tell from my very Aussie accent. So I'm in the Southern Highlands of New South Wales, which is about 1.5 hours, 2 hours south of Sydney. And it's like a big destination holiday sort of place and weddings. So one of the reasons I do a lot of wedding cakes is because, yeah, a lot of people come down from Sydney or up from Canberra or like the bigger sort of towns to have a little, you know, a destination wedding. I thought America. I hope I don't have an American accent. I like being Australian. Yeah. Plum bird. What's that? Thinking, are you English with that sort of name? Yeah. I don't know. But yeah, that's me. I stream like on a Thursday when I'm putting cakes together, you know, like building up all the layers, cutting them, putting buttercream inside, just crumb coating and that kind of thing. And then I'll often stream on a Friday night when I'm decorating for Saturday pickups. But just with the holidays and like having a bit of a break over Christmas, this is my first stream back. Oh, Russian ice cream. Oh, that's cool. Russian ice cream. Yum. Yeah, well, cool. It must be very cool. Russia would be very cold right now, I'm guessing, because we are dying. We're in a heat wave right now down in Australia. So I'm guessing you guys on the other side of the world are very cold. Oh, you're from Germany. Okay, yeah, still cold, I guess. Oh, a friend of mine went over to Germany for the Christmas markets. I saw all her like amazing like videos and photos and things from the Christmas markets. Like, I would love to go over there at Christmas time. It would be very cool. Very cold. Same joke. Well, this is sort of me. I'm sort of done for the day. But thanks for the chats. Just like twirling the cake around. Thank you so much. Lovely to talk to you. And yeah, thanks so much for the who followed. Where did it go? Oops, lost it. There we go. Catastrophe. Thank you so much for the follow. Much appreciated. And thanks to everyone who chatted. You have other stuff that you made to see somewhere. Yes, so there's a link to my Insta and my TikTok, YouTube, all that kind of stuff just above. Sorry, my husband normally helps with the tech side of this. Let's see if I can do that. Did that work? There we go. Yes, there are my links. If you're interested, check out some of the other cakes I do. And yeah. There's a few clips and things like on my Twitch page. There is some pasta in there because I'm also a member of like a monthly cooking challenge club. So sometimes we do sweet, sometimes we do savory. And I think my other half's also in that video helping me make pasta. But yeah, mainly it's sweets. Chef by trade, pastry chef by trade, prefer pastry over standard chefing. So yeah, it's just a bit more technical. Anyways, yeah, thanks for the chats, and I'm pretty much done. Hope you guys enjoyed watching this cake be decorated, and me swearing at the red buttercream that didn't want to come together. Thankfully it's together now, it looks nice. Yeah, thankfully that worked. I was going to tear my hair up. Cool. All right. Anyway, thanks guys. It's been amazing. Have a lovely night or day or wherever you are in the world. And I'll catch you next time. All right. Bye.